Hello everyone and welcome back to Armchair Armoury. So it's a frustrating afternoon in Lancashire as it finishes at Turf Moor. Burnley 1, Arsenal 1. First half, well, I should probably start off with the lineup. A few changes from Leicester last week. Aubameyang came in for Lacazette. Partey came in for El Neni. Saka came in for Pepe. And the surprising choice, I think most Arsenal fans were probably really surprised about this, was actually Callum Chambers making his first start for Arsenal for a long time. Came in for Cedric and Bellerin. And Bellerin was on the bench. Cedric wasn't picked today. But we started the game quite well, actually. Early pressing, early pressure. In the 6th minute, or halfway through the 6th minute, we got a goal. Willian pass into Oba. Oba drives a shot low. Nick Pope goes for Burnley's goalkeeper, goes for it. Can't keep it out, palms it into his own goal. 1-0 Arsenal. And you're thinking this is going to be basically, if you guys have seen the preview, it will be that score. It looked like we were on top of them. Then, I don't know, like 5 minutes before halftime, 6 minutes before halftime maybe, we're in our own area, under pressure from Burnley's pressing. Pablo Mari passes the ball to Bernd Leno. Bernd Leno hesitates and passes the ball to Xhaka, who's in front of him in his goal. And Xhaka, I do not know what he was doing. I really do not know what he was doing. So basically he tries to loop the ball over Chris Wood, the Burnley striker, to David Luiz, and he doesn't quite lift it high enough. And somehow the ball comes off of Chris Wood's hip and past Leno 1-1. A game in which for that first kind of like 39 minutes, Burnley didn't look like they had a prayer, and we let them back into the game. And to be honest, as you'll probably see from the title of this video, this has summed up Arsenal's season all season, where we look dominant, we have most of the ball, we get a goal, or we press and we get a goal, or we look like we're going to score, and out of nowhere against the run of play, one of our defensive players makes a mistake, and the opposing team is back in the game. I suppose the only positive that you can take out of it is that we didn't lose, and I was convinced, and I'll come on to that in the second half, that this was I think I put a tweet out saying this is going to be either 2-1 to Burnley or it will finish 1-1, and I was convinced that we'd get caught on the break and Burnley would go down the other end and score. They've got poaching goal scorers in Vidra Rodriguez and Chris Wood, so like it was always possible. And you know they've got slab-headed centre backs that know how to head a ball, so you know they could have easily got us on set pieces or something like that. But luckily, yes, we didn't lose. But it summed up the entire season, because the second half Burnley were probably the better side. They pretty much dominated us in terms of winning every second ball, having most of the possession. It was only really in the last 10-20 minutes where we thought, oh, we're gonna leave here with a draw, and that's been one of the main problems this season, is that we just haven't been consistent. We just haven't been consistent, and there are extenuating circumstances for that. But at the same time, you know, if we want to progress, we need to be consistent. And the one thing I have to address before I go on to the more detailed stuff in the second half, the one thing I have to address is something that's really pissing me off right now, is that I keep seeing on social media people lambasting, yes, Xhaka made a mistake, but the abuse that he's getting is unbelievable. Like, what are you doing? Have you got nothing better to do with your life other than like abuse players? Just don't. It's just not on. Other than that moment, he didn't play that badly. He made a mistake. We know that this is in his game. And eventually we will have to move on from him because he's clearly like not good enough for Arsenal. But like, there's no need to like abuse the guy. And then the other thing that I keep seeing as well is people blaming Arteta for the fact we drew this game. And it's like, well, we scored the goal from the system that he set up, which was the playing out from the back. And yes, we conceded a goal, but as footballers, this is why I'm saying that Xhaka is to blame, and to some extent Leno. Like, they should have common sense to just hoof the ball away, clear your lines. But again, with the Arteta out brigade, they'll look for anything. Even when we win a game, they'll look for something to complain about.
Oh, he didn't start Martinelli. Didn't bring on Martinelli, so he's inept.
And I actually thought it was going to be Callum Chambers that would make a mistake today. Because then if that happened, they'd then go,
oh, why did he start Chambers?
It's the same thing that they're saying now. Why did he start Xhaka? Well, why does he keep putting faith in Xhaka? Because realistically, he's better than El Neni, and those two are our only other box-to-box midfielders. Simple. Anyway, so second half goes along. Pepe, who came on for Willian, had quite a decent game actually. Drove into the box, went to try to cross the ball in, and Eric Peters, who I think he's one of their defenders. Yeah, he's one of their defenders. It appears, and you'll probably see in the picture, that the ball, it actually hit him in the hand twice, and Arsenal players called out for a penalty, said it was handball. Referee, who was Andre Mariner, he waved it away. Went to VAR. VAR said no, can't see anything wrong with that. I think Peter Walton said that he was surprised that it wasn't given as a penalty, and I think Darren Fletcher said afterwards, that like they weren't sure because of how close Pepe's leg was to Peter's hand or something like that. Like it was so quick that it was hard to see. And it's like, but that's what you're paid to do. No wonder Arsene Wenger used to say or said that no English referee will go to the World Cup, because they don't know their arse from their elbow most of the time. And it's similar to the Wolves game, where it's a game we should have won, and we've given away, stupidly of our own doing, we've given away an equaliser, and we were perfectly capable. Even though we did that, we were perfectly capable of going on and winning the game. But again, it was a combination of, and this is another thing I'll come on to, it was a combination of bad attacking play in the final third, not being able to kind of like, finish our dinner, so to speak, and bad refereeing decisions. We should have had a penalty. To me, that looked like a penalty, and I'm not saying that I'm an expert, and I've been an armchair fan pretty much since I became an Arsenal fan. And I've only been to a handful of games in my life.
You're not a real Arsenal fan.
Piss off. And to me, that looked like handball. By the letter of the law, that looked like handball. And it does play into this conspiracy that for some reason the referees just hate Arsenal. And I think part of me thinks, and this is just me being stupid, but part of me thinks that they do it on purpose to get a reaction out of like the channels that have that, like the social media channels that have that kind of negative connotation. Like, it's entertaining to see the guys on AFTV have a rant, or see Lee Gunner have a rant on his channel, or something like that, or Igao on Football Terrace to have a rant or something like that. And it's just strange how it keeps happening. Yeah, I don't know. It is frustrating, but at the same time, I feel as if like we did enough to win the game. And like I said earlier, it didn't feel like until like the last 10 minutes that we actually bothered. It was a very kind of slow, boring game in the second half from an Arsenal perspective. And it wasn't until we got to like the 79th minute or something, when Ceballos came on, was that when we started pushing. And literally, I think in the last 2 or 3 minutes, we had like a flurry at goal. I can't remember exactly what happened. There was so much going on, but the one thing I remember is that Ceballos had a hit from just inside the area, and had a shot from there, and it hit the post, and it just wasn't our day at the end of the day. But yeah, like I said, it sums up our season, and I don't necessarily think that it's just Arteta to blame. I think what he's done in the short space of time that he's done in terms of like certain things that have improved have been positive for the team. I just feel as if like there's a lot of that old mentality from the Wenger slash Emery days that's still there, or even before that, he hasn't got them playing yet. And like a lot of people have said, if he is backed in the summer and he does bring in his players and we end up 10th again, then obviously it's not working. He'll have to move on. But at the moment, I don't see anything apart from maybe, a few substitutions. Like I didn't necessarily agree with Odegaard being taken off for Lacazette necessarily. But yeah, apart from a little bit of questionable substitutions, I can't really see anything that makes me think, either way. I'm kind of 50-50 with it at the moment, but I'm more in the sense that I'm willing to let this season ride to see what happens next season. Because hopefully by, next season we'll be back fans will be back in the stadium and football will be sort of back to normal. And then we can see what happens. It's the thing is, with a lot of the results that we've had this season, the team and the manager are very lucky that the fans aren't there, because I think by now, if for example we went through the run that we did with fans in the stadium, I don't think Arteta would be there right now, which is a shame. But the one thing I would say to all these fans that hate him for no apparent reason, it's just unjustified. If you're going to look for everything that he does to be wrong, then you're not supporting the team. I don't really care who the manager is as long as the team does well. And that's the thing. That's the reason why as long as I see some sort of improvement. But the difference is, and I know that there'll be people that say, oh yeah, but you're contradicting yourself. But no, because as I said, I don't necessarily think that there's been a lot of extenuating circumstances this season. It's a rookie manager. It's his first season as a manager. Obviously, there's going to be things that are going to go wrong. And again, because of some of the players that we've got, there's always going to be issues there. Like I said before, if we brought in Rafa Benitez, I don't necessarily think that we would have got into the top 4. I think for the most part he's done okay. For the most part, anyway. It's hard when you look at cold hard facts. You'd say, if you compare him to, if you go through the period of like Wenger's last 2 or 3 years, Emery's a year and a half, and then this first year of Arteta, you'd say Arteta's the worst, because we're probably going to finish between 8th and 10th. Emery finished 5th. And in Arsene Wenger's last season, we finished 6th, I believe. Yeah, we finished 6th. That's in Wenger's last season. So by that standard, you'd be saying, well, yeah, he's not as good as those guys. But again, like I say, the one player that we really needed that he brought in Thomas Partey didn't play for most of the season. He's a rookie manager, which means that obviously he's going to make mistakes. And at times, decisions have gone against us. The gelling of the team isn't quite there yet. But we'll see next season. We'll see what happens next season. And like I say, if it doesn't improve and we still end up mid-table, then it will be like, okay, yeah, I hold my hands up and say I was wrong and we need to move on from this guy. But at this moment in time, I just feel as if, and with the ownership that we have that don't really invest in the team, I feel like even the best manager in the world wouldn't be able to do very much with these players at the moment. But still, we move. We've got now Olympiacos becomes a massive game. That essentially keeps our season alive, and I just hope we don't go there and make it difficult for ourselves like we did in the Benfica tie. Hopefully we don't. Oh yeah, the other thing I forgot to mention is VAR actually did its job, and there was a volley from Pepe that hit Peter's shoulder, and the referee gave a penalty and gave a red card, but then VAR overturned it because it hit his shoulder, not his hand. So yeah, at least it got something right. Anyway, player ratings. So Leno, I'm going to give a 6. I think he was partly to blame for the build-up to Burnley's goal. I think he should have just hoofed it and not passed it to Xhaka. But other than that, I think he came to the rescue for us twice. He pulled off a great save from, again, Eric Peters was popping up all over the place in the latter part of the second half. A looping shot from outside the box, and Leno just about tipped it over the bar. And then there was a quick one-on-one with Chris Wood where he just pushed it away with his feet. So yeah, I'll give him a 6 for those 2 saves alone. Tierney, decent. Didn't really get into the game, but not bad enough that it was like below average or average, so I'll give him a 6. Chambers actually did all right. I thought Chambers did okay. He lost the ball a couple of times and got caught in possession a couple of times, or caught out of position, sorry. But I think he did okay, so I'm going to give him a 6. Murray, I'm going to give a 7. I think he's played pretty well since he's been a mainstay in the team. Even when he looked in trouble, he wasn't in trouble. He just looked solid. I'd also give David Luiz a 7. I think the centre-backs did really well today. Saka, I'm going to give a 6. This is probably like the worst he's played for a while now. Yes, he did have that chance at the start of just after the Oba goal, but yeah, I just felt like he didn't really get into the game. I didn't really see him enough to be like, oh yeah, he's playing really well today. Odegaard, I would give a 6. He looked good, but I don't think he was, again, he lost the ball a lot, and I don't think he was like outstanding. I know there's a lot of people waxing lyrical about him at the moment, but about today's performance, but I don't think it was anything special. Partey, I will also give a 6. Again, good, but not great. Willian, same thing, good, but not great. He set up the goal for the goal for Oba. But other than that, it was kind of anonymous. Oba, I'm going to give a 7. Didn't really do that much other than the goal, so I'm basically just giving him the goal for the 7. Giving him the 7 for the goal. Ceballos 5. Apart from the shot, didn't really see much of him. Laka, I'm going to give a 6. I thought he did quite well. Pepe 7. Did really well when he came on, I thought. There are arguments to say he probably should have started, but I think he's definitely knocking on the door. And I'm actually going to give Arteta a 7 today. I think he set up perfectly fine for the game. It's just individual errors that's cost us, basically, in terms of conceding the goal, you know. And then again, you know, if we won the game 1-0, but all the things that happened, no one would be complaining right now. So I think I'm going to give him a 7 just based on that. Yeah, so that's it. As I said at the beginning, a frustrating afternoon in Lancashire. And Turf Moor continues to be one of the bogey stadiums for Arsenal, because we always seem to struggle there, or just about get out with like a 1-0 win or something. But it wasn't to be today, and you know, we move forward. We just move on. We've got to concentrate on Olympiacos now, and then we've got Spurs, the big game against Spurs on Sunday. Oh God, I'm not looking forward to that at all. But anyway, it might be a good time to play them. Who are they playing this weekend? They're playing Southampton. No, they're not playing Southampton. That's a date to be confirmed. They are playing Crystal Palace at home tomorrow. They probably should win that, but again, they've had in different form at the moment, so it should be a good time to play them. And yeah, I always want to see a performance in a North London derby. Yeah, you can't, as an Arsenal player, you can't go into a game against Spurs being half-arsed. I just hope we turn up. I think it would be a good morale boost, you know, going into the second leg against Olympiacos, depending on what happens in the first game. That you know, could boost us on to get us through to the quarterfinals of the Europa League. But yeah, so that's it. I will speak to you again for the Olympiacos preview on Tuesday or tomorrow or Tuesday, Wednesday at the latest. So yeah, that's it. We move forward. As I say, I try not to let this thing get on my nerves too much. It does feel like a loss. It does feel like we've definitely dropped points. But anyway, take care, everyone, and speak to you soon. Stay safe. This is Deepai signing out.